stand. From the mountain to the ocean, from the windward to the leeward side. On the island.
Hello and welcome back. You're watching Rise Above Hawaii, which is a 30-minute talk story on health. And I got to tell you, we are so happy and pleased tonight to have for you as our guest, Mr. Lane Luna, everybody. Thank you so much for being on the show. I mean, you know, it's quite an inspiring story, reading about you in the paper. And I've known you from, way back, high school days. And I know you're an artist. You just all kinds. You're a school teacher. still yet school teacher.
Yeah,
Oh no, okay, school teacher, cook. So, but all your life you've been pretty much into health. Is that safe to say?
On and off. On and off. I started in the 80s. I started training and getting into bodybuilding, and I kind of gave it up over the years and got out of shape, and like everybody, we live in Hawaii where there's a lot of good food. And, after checked my cholesterol level was pretty high, and I just kept eating. And a few years ago, got back into training, like in bodybuilding, where you have to watch what you eat. And I did pretty good for 3 years, my comeback, because what happened in the 80s, I didn't fulfill one of my dreams to enter a contest. So I lived all those years, 25 plus years, in regret not making that stage. And at 45 years of age, I went back and I said, we got one life to live, and I want to fulfill that dream of being on stage and just being there, saying, hey, I did it. So it took me 3 years to kind of diet, exercise, and build myself up to where I could be a competitor. And I ate really well, but what happened was, after I did the show, was successful at the competition. I was in there with 20 years old. They didn't have any master's division with people my age.
Oh, so you had to go kind of like with the young kids too?
So young kids are built, they're tight, they're
natural,
muscular. They don't have loose skin like me. After you pass 45, the skin starts hanging. So I was kind of skeptical about going in there and entering. But I said, I just want to do this, and I don't care if I make a fool out of myself. So I booked the flight, I entered. When I went there, I saw who was in the lineup, and I was like, whoa, my God, I'm in the wrong place. We're with the top of the line, kids from all over the state. They're built, they're lean, they got tiny waists. We had guys like Kimo from up at UH Gym, who is just massive. Naia's nephew, Brady, who is one of the most beautiful built bodybuilders around. And when I saw them, I was like, I'm in the wrong place. I'm 48 years old, and I'm gonna have to go out and pose with these 20-something. And they were kind of looking at me like in the same way, like, whoa, this guy came in and he's in great shape.
Like out of the blue kind, because they kind of never know you as well. Like, who's this guy coming?
The older guy, and I obviously look 48 years old. I go in there, the bags under the eye, the skin hanging, But when competition came up and they called me out, and what they do they usually judge the show at pre-judging in the daytime, and the nighttime show is already predetermined who won. So they had me out in the front, and they would match me with everybody in the lineup, and they kept me up there. So I was like, whoa, Coach Naia was in the audience. Lane, you got this. They got you as number one. And I go, no, they just probably felt sorry for me because I was the oldest guy up there. I was having so much fun on stage. I was living my dream. A part of that regret was erased. And I was up there and, just having so much fun. The head judge goes, are you all right up there? And you're not supposed to speak, So I go, oh yes, miss, I'm really happy to be here. And I'm just excited, Everybody in the crowd starts laughing. And then I go, I'm 48 years old and I'm living my dream. And
oh, wow.
The crowd, she said, let's give him a hand, Wow. So from that on, I thought, I think I kind of got the favoritism of the judge. But no, they said it was really how I had come in conditioned and how hard I had worked. And, it was a dream come true.
Wow. Well, tell us how hard what will be your workout regimen?
Well,
Or did it go in
pre-contest,
phases?
yeah.
So let's start 3 years ago.
Okay, 3 years
So-
ago I started, and it was, I started off the wrong way where I
Oh.
would bulk up. It's old-fashioned. You eat a lot of food, take in a lot of calories,
Oh.
so your weight actually comes up and you become big all over.
Oh.
And that's not very healthy, and I'm going to explain why.
Mm.
So, later on I found out bulking up is not the right way to do. You're eating everything inside McDonald's and all these, everything.
Just for bulk up. Because
Yeah,
the old
yeah.
philosophy was bulk up and then later on, right before the
Yeah.
contest, just stop.
Yes, and that's what I did, and it's totally wrong.
Okay.
Because what happened was, after the contest,
Okay.
I went back to training, and I would be walking on the treadmill, and I would feel a tightening in my chest.
Oh.
At 15 minutes, I would get this tightening, so I was like, oh, something's wrong.
Oh.
And then I would be working out, doing squats, and then I get that same tightening, and the kids who I work out with, Uncle, are you all right? They kind of worried. And I would be bent over the machine, and, really, really, it looks like I'm having a heart attack. So I went to check with my doctor, and then he said, you need to see a cardiologist. And when I went there, he put me on the treadmill, and he had to put it really high, and all of a sudden I got it. And he said, you know what, something is wrong. I can't tell by the EEG and all these tests, but you need to fly to Oahu and go to Kuakini.
Oh.
And they're going to do an angiogram where they put that thing up your arm, and it shoots a dye in your heart. And the doctor there, when I went there, he said, you're in great shape. It should be all right. When he checked and shot the dye in, he said, oh my God, you have 90% blockage. And we're going to have to put titanium stents into your heart to open it up.
Huh?
And he said it didn't happen overnight. And it took anywhere from 15 to 20 years of eating bad food. And that's what happened. I lived all those years enjoying myself. When I went back to teaching, I worked at the, creating museum exhibits.
Yeah.
And I would eat everything in sight and not worry about
For
it,
real?
not do cardio. Yeah, for many years I kind of laid off from the gym, and I just really concentrated in my work, doing the museum work, doing teaching.
But you never look obese.
Well,
It's tricky,
it
yeah?
wasn't, my cholesterol level was high, and when it's already high and you're that young and you're eating all this bad food, there's no place for it to go, and you're not doing cardio, you're not doing anything to get rid of it.
90% blockage.
Yeah, so, and when I was teaching at KL High School, my students would bring me packages of the Filipino sausage, longanisa.
Yeah.
That thing is so ono. When you look at it, it's filled with animal fat.
Oh.
And I take it home. Nobody else eat them. My family look at that. Oh, what is that?
Oh.
And I would eat the whole package, and I wouldn't want more. So
Because you don't like waste.
yeah, I tell the kids, what? Don't give me. I buy them from you.
Yeah.
And I would buy, and I would eat that. And late at night, I would eat that. The kids eat pizza. We go to the buffet, and I whack in pizza, and then I don't even exercise. It's years of
years of that kind.
yeah. So
Oh.
it took any place
I never
from
know that.
15 to 20 years, and if your body, certain people cannot metabolize the cholesterol or fats, so it becomes a problem when you take in this stuff. So when I started bodybuilding and eating good, 2 months out, actually I started in November and my show was in June. So I started eating really clean,
Oh.
not taking any fats, chicken breast.
So you change your philosophy, like midway, and you change your philosophy. This was after the doctor said, "Hey, you get 90% blockage."
No, I didn't know yet.
Oh, okay.
I
never know.
started because I was thinking, I'm big. I was 230 pounds, bulked up.
Yeah.
And I was telling myself, you know what, I'm going to try and do this. Maybe next year I'm going to enter one show just to erase that regret.
Yeah.
And I started dieting, right through Christmas when you're supposed to be eating with your family and New Year's. And, I would be with my chicken breast. I started off in the morning with oatmeal, egg whites.
Yeah.
And I would not cheat all the way from November all the way till June.
Oh.
And 2 months out from June, I would make my diet even strict, where 5 meals a day I would have just chicken breast and sweet potato and vegetables.
Oh.
And Sodi and Naia would tell me, if you want to get ripped and lower your body fat, you got to watch your carb intake and all
Okay.
that. And so I did.
Like breads, like that,
Yeah,
toast,
no
cereal.
bread, no pasta.
How about dairy?
Not at all.
Oh, so no dairy and no bread and pasta
Yeah.
and. Oh, okay. Because
So
why?
just
What? Because that's too
Dairy,
much carbs.
dairy, a lot of high fat.
Oh.
Dairy, but we need fat in the diet. So I would take in a little bit of almonds,
Oh, wow.
just a little bit, because if you don't have the fat, it's unhealthy. Your hair starts falling. Your skin starts looking
chapping,
bad.
yeah.
So you need a balance of everything. Even omega-3s and all that
okay.
stuff.
Okay.
I would take a ton of multivitamins. Gallon of water a day. I carried a gallon of water. Make sure I finish that.
How important is water?
Very important to stay hydrated, because the more water you lose working out, you have to put back in. So the last week, I believe, before the show, Naia advised me, go down to the store and get distilled water. And that's an old-fashioned like a tool that bodybuilders use to clean the system out.
Okay.
And it actually cleans everything, the sodium, because the sodium creates that look of puffiness. And you don't want that. You want just the skin and muscle. So it is,
It's okay. Very scientific.
Very much. The balance of proteins, carbohydrates, fats, your electrolytes, which is your minerals. It has to be all balanced out. And if one thing is a little out, you go on stage and it'll blow your whole look.
Wow.
Just a little, coverage of water, and you look, you blow the definition.
Well, what is the look you think judges looking for? What are they looking for?
At the amateur level, judges are looking for symmetry, which is balance, equal balance, muscles in every group. Nice wide shoulders, small waist, nice legs, the thighs.
How about calves?
Calves too.
Because some guys like no matter what, like for me, no matter what, my calves just ain't gonna. Is that genetic or?
Yeah, it's genetic. Calves is one of the hardest muscles to build. In fact, I got one of those. I had my video on YouTube, and this lady said, as a fellow Asian, please work on your butt and your calves. We have weakness in it.
That's true. No, every ethnicity get on top, something that's great and something that's weak.
So
butt and calves, Asian.
Yeah. So I've been really working on that in the gym and asking for advice.
How you work on your butt? I mean, you can actually make your butt come out.
One leg presses, and it gets it's called the gluteal muscle, the gluteal maximus, and doing a lot of lunges. So it's not a big butt. What they're looking for, your butt, when you're defined, there's lines in it called striations. And if you have those, the judges are gonna mark you like you got this.
You got that. Okay.
Because the butt area is one of the most.
It's hardest for work because there's a lot of fat there.
It carries high fat content, the lower back and the butt. So if you got that defined,
you're good.
You're good.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try very hard in November to get that area defined.
Oh wow. A lot of so judges looking for balance.
Symmetry.
You say at the amateur level, what they're looking for at the
Amateur
professional
level, not well. Professional is I'm not too keen on professional
They look
bodybuilding.
like bulk because they're big.
They look freaky nowadays. They're extra huge. I would say bodybuilding was really aesthetic back in the 80s. That's when people went up there and they looked beautiful. They had balance. Their bodies looked like Greek statues. And nowadays it's scary. They have their proportions. If you look at the
I haven't seen recently, but I remember in the 80s it was nice.
Very, very nice. You had guys like Lee Haney, Lee Labrada, who went up and they looked,
healthy.
Very healthy. Nowadays everybody looks, it's way too big. And the lineup at Olympia looks like the Hulk. Everybody's just way too big.
I was wondering about because you're right. I mean, at that level, you got to get big, like all kind of hulkish. I always wondered, is there room for the natural bodybuilder in bodybuilding, or you think you gotta maybe take a little bit steroids? Or something?
In the pro level, everybody takes something, and it's not even a
not even like
no, it's
coming now.
And it's not just steroids; it's growth hormones. It's taking insulin to get size, and insulin. Although people take it for their blood. For their pancreas and regulating blood sugars, insulin is one of the most highly anabolic agents out there, even more than steroids. But it's dangerous.
Why?
And if insulin, if you take it the wrong way, you go into diabetic shock or coma and you
Oh.
die.
Oh, so this is
So-
so it's a risk then. If you go to the professional level, you almost I don't know if this is correct to say, but you almost gotta take something like illegal.
Very few. Well, nowadays they have this thing called anti-aging therapy, where doctors out there
So it is legal.
prescribes
Oh.
to athletes at older athletes, but these guys are in their 20s and 30s, and it's illegal.
It's
for
legal
them.
for them, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but at the amateur level, you think there's room for the natural bodybuilder?
Of course.
Hey, that's good news, you guys.
A lot.
Okay.
I see genetically gifted kids right in Hilo who, they just go and train and they look professional. I'm really impressed with this one boy who graduated out of Kamehameha a few years ago, and he's natural.
Yeah.
And he comes to the gym and
He get the symmetry. You can tell.
oh
already.
my God, the
Yeah.
kid
Yeah.
is gifted.
Yeah.
He's just built like a little
Yeah.
professional. You see him in the gym.
Yeah.
And he's natural because the kid is a good kid. He was a football player.
Yeah. You
and
just get the right genetics. Probably eating well.
yes, and he died. At that age, I think he's 20 years old. But you don't see kids at that age keeping that kind of discipline.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
they're dieting, eating 5-6 meals a
Yeah.
day. At that age, you want to go eat pizza. You want, you go fast food. But I gave him credit. He
Yeah.
dieted down. And now he's doing it the right way. The right way to do things is not to bulk up, but to diet down first,
Oh.
get lean, and put the muscle on slowly.
Okay. So that's the take-home message, I think, too.
Yes.
Right? That's one of the take-home messages. I always thought, like you gotta bulk up, and so no matter what you, and then right before contest or before the class reunion, you just slim down, you starve.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing from you is that with all that years experience, you've actually changed your philosophy, and now it is, just eat good, and then bulk from there.
Yes, it's actually, bodybuilders are not, when you see guys walking around town,
Yeah.
they're really big and stuff. That doesn't look good on stage. It's the guys who are skinny and they chisel who actually do well on stage. And
Okay.
it is actually an illusion. It's if you're low in body fat and you have moderate amount of muscles, you'll win.
Oh.
If you're lean, hard, you got nice balance. Because I'm small. If you look at me, I was walking around in the mall and had these two big guys in vitamin room. Hey, look, that's the old guy who was in the paper, won the contest.
Yeah.
And the other guy looks at his friend and says, I thought he would be bigger.
That's what he said.
Yeah, because in the paper we look nice
Yeah.
and big because we're actually defined, and
Oh.
so bodybuilders are really not really, amateur bodybuilders. We're more for the quality and
I think most women, I just would appreciate more the amateur look.
It's
When
healthier,
I talk to my wife and my sister guys, they're like, oh, they're too big,
Yeah.
But the amateur look, oh yeah, that's nice.
it looks healthy, and
Yeah,
it
look
looks
more
healthy.
healthy.
When you're at the beach, it definitely shows.
Yeah.
Your abs are there.
Yeah.
And it shows. Getting big is good if you're gonna go to. You have dreams of being a pro and all this stuff, but
But there is risk, with the
Yeah.
professional, with the whole steroid use. We had a
Yeah.
Honoka coach on who talked a little bit about
Yeah.
his use with steroids, and he's paying the price now. So I'm glad that there's professionals like you and amateurs.
amateur.
But the professional outlook, if you will, like the professional teacher,
Yeah.
who would be able to give good advice to our kids. So that's great. So there is room for that, and that's good for the kids to know. But now bodybuilding is just one part of your life, right? You do art too.
I'm a professional artist since back in the 80s. I've painted for many galleries throughout the state.
Yeah.
And I became a museum artist where
Yeah.
I created museum exhibits for everybody from the Bishop Museum's
Yeah.
Hawaiian Hall, the NOAA's Moku Papa,
Yeah.
and the Lyman Museum Hawaiian Hall. And I'm very, very humbled and honored to do work like that. Where as a teacher, you kind of want to leave something back to educate others. And those are permanent exhibits where, I can leave something back
Yeah.
that hopefully maybe my grandchildren will
Yeah.
see, hey, my grandpa did that. And, it's not only educating your own, but the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really have a lot of.
What is your genre then in art? Is it like waves, beach scenario, what kind?
I love everything.
Oh, okay.
Everything. I've done everything from seascapes to portraits. I was into the fish mounts for a while. I did that for a long, long time, and 14 years, and a lot of that is seen in the Moku Papa exhibit.
Yeah. And you like fishing? You're a fisherman?
Yes.
Or a diver?
Yes. But I kind of got out of both of that. You know, I popped my eardrum at Pipikio.
Wow, we're going too deep.
Too deep. Oh, I went out with Jennifer Holani, guys, and they never took me after that. She's a fish. That girl can go down.
Oh, well, if you go too deep, it's dangerous.
Well, it is. And then we're kind of going past 35, 40 feet. And, you know, I went down, came up, and I felt really dizzy, and they said, you know, you popped your eardrum and stuff. So I stopped, and then a couple of years ago, we went fishing at Hakalau, our spot, and my daughter's boyfriend I was teaching him how the wave and cover him, and I was like, oh, never no more. Never
But
again.
that was a nice part of your life story thing.
Yeah, I still love it. It's going back to nature. It's part of art. It's part of living in Hawaii, and, you know, everything.
And you're married? Have kids?
Yes.
Yeah?
I have my wife, Jackie. She's a teacher.
She's a teacher too.
Yeah, and my oldest daughter, Hillary, really proud of her, and my daughter, Camille, and Jacob.
Yeah.
He's 10 years old, and my other daughter goes to Waikia. One just graduated from Hilo High.
Yeah.
Yeah, really proud.
So what they must be proud of you. What was their advice? Like, Dad, no do this, or Dad, you know.
Well, they kind of know how I am, you know. I'm very eccentric as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So after I won, they're like, Dad, you know what? Whenever something like this happens, I know you can get big head. so you gotta be humble, you know. And Hillary's telling me, you know, I went through this. She won her pageant. She was very, very walk with humility. You know, I give her credit. My daughter's a real good champion. She was.
Yeah, she won something, in a pageant.
She won the Miss Teen Lehua Hawaii. It was the first year they had that pageant in Hilo. And, you know, she never was a girly girl.
And she giving you advice.
Yeah, but she never was like that. You know, she was this, she's BJ Penn's, she was the first jiu-jitsu champion, teenage girl from his gym.
Wow.
And she did
so kind of what do you call Tita?
Yeah, she was really. She's still tough. She still choked me out. And stuff, so.
Tap you out.
Yeah, she's the only one who, if she speaks, I gotta listen.
But she was telling you that now I know. You know, if you win this, you gotta be humble, huh?
She always scolded me. You know, she said, "You're just a small, big fish in a small pond." I don't know. She always tells me that, you know, you gotta walk with humility. And I said, "Okay, Hillary." You know, it's very wise for her age.
Yeah.
And my other girl is a talented musician, you know. She never went to a day of piano lessons, and
she just pick up.
She has soul. She can sing, and she can play compositions like
Terrific.
you know, Pasha Bell's Canon in D. You know, and then she does you know, Lionel Richie and anything she listens, and so I'm very proud of her.
Now that's your side or the mother side?
I think the mom's side. My side was the athletic side. Yeah.
But how about the artist? How about your son, maybe?
The artist came from my side.
Okay.
You know, I guess throughout the generations, my ancestor was Juan Luna from the Philippines. He's a national hero, and he's on the Philippine 25-cent piece. And he was a great compatriot from the Philippines when they had that whole movement with the Spaniards, and him and Jose Rizal kind of was like the, you know, like our equivalence of the Declaration of Independence kind of thing. But he was an artist
and that's
first.
your ancestor.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was an artist first. He was one of the greatest painters to come out of the Philippines, and he went to Paris, France, and you know, did well there, and you know.
So that's in your genetics. Then.
Yeah, and my mom, she's a great artist, and you know, everybody. I heard my grandfather, grandfather, they're all artists, and my kids. My son just won state championship for this poster contest. They won cash nowadays.
Nowadays get cash.
You know what I mean? Where do you see elementary kids winning cash?
They're spoiling our kids with cash.
So both of them, you know, the oldest girl, they all got cash awards, you know, and I didn't even help them, and they win. You know, so I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. No, I think it's. I always think it's because till today I still join stick figures, I took art class from this guy, Mr. Wipa at St. Joseph, and he tried to skate. Art is all like circles and squares and triangles now, so, but still, you gotta be able to see them, man, before you do it. It's tough.
But it's like a double-edged sword. Being an artist, you're really sensitive to everything you see around you, and you see things differently, so we're very emotional people. And my wife can't handle that because, we're just, artists, you kind of thinking different, you think abstractly. Yeah. And so, everything around you is about art. You see things differently when they're seeing things from the left side of the brain, we see it from the right side. Right side,
oh. So, well, that's what makes you guys special. Yeah, that's why you can replicate what you see on paper.
We're hard to live with. I give it all the time.
Well, it's very inspirational because you've taken your expertise in art and you've applied it to your body, and you've pretty much crafted yourself.
Exactly. It was, I believe bodybuilding is an art. It's like, molding a sculpture where you want a little bit more shoulders. Instead of putting clay, you're going to work it out to make more here. So I built my body. I really idolized Frank Zane from the 70s.
Yeah, Frank Zane.
And he was not a real big guy, but he had the most pleasing physique. And I said, you know what, I'm going to make myself look like him where I'm lean, and I have that symmetry. And even my posing, I don't come out and go like that. Everything is open hands and like how he did it. Yeah. And, I kind of put my picture beside him, and he's, he's Mr. Olympia. He's going to be way muscular. Yeah. But I almost got it to where it's the symmetry is
that's nice.
Almost alike. So it is like art, you have to envision what you need. You want your legs to come out more. You have to exercise so that the sides come out where you have leg sweeps. Yeah.
So you've checked off that bucket list item, which was to be on stage, to be about. Now what else is on that list that you feel like you gotta check off?
I have one more competition to do, November 2nd.
Okay. And where's that going to be at? So that the audience, is it something
Waikiki, Sheraton, Waikiki. Okay. It's called the Paradise Cup.
Wow.
And I finally get to compete against guys my own age.
Oh, good.
But I think it's going to be tough because I'm going against multiple champions who won many times over.
Wow.
So these guys are ripped. They've been in the game for a long time. Yeah. When I actually just been in it 3 years seriously.
Yeah.
So after this is my last one. I said I'm going to retire, become a bodybuilding coach at Penn's.
Okay.
Maybe do personal training, but live my life out as a fine artist and paint and do art to my heart's content and live in peace, live in harmony, and kind of go with the flow.
I like that. Well, you've heard it all, you guys. Take it from Mr. Lane Luna here, who has changed his philosophy on dieting even, and now I think it's never too late to achieve your dreams. It's kind of the message too, and after that, just enjoy life. I like that. Well, thank you so much for being on my show. Kimo. I really appreciate your time.
I really appreciate thanks for having me.
Awesome. And thank you, Big Island. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. See you next week. Ahui ho.
We do it in style. From the mountain to the ocean, from the windward to the leeward side. Oh,